dinner last night, I think, with Megan Bergdorf.
Mm-hmm. She's my neighbor.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she said that.
Yeah.
She told me that. And we were just talking about this and talking about grit and it being an interview show. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want it to be more like Joe Rogan-y.
Yeah. Where
you're just shooting the shit.
I think that's the best way to do it.
With like me, with like a tendril of performance in it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is ChatGPT. And then I had it make it more simple.
Yeah.
Bad motherfucker vibes are the unique mental state an athlete enters when they're at their absolute best. It's a personal blend of confidence, intensity, and focus that aligns with their natural style, whether calm and composed or loud and explosive. Bad motherfucker vibes is what lets athletes silent out, elevate their game, and take control of the moment. My real thing is when I work with athletes, and Gina and Tony are a perfect example of this. Gina wants to be calm down. Tony wants to be amped up. Yeah. And it's like, but they're both bad motherfuckers, you know what I mean? So it's different for everybody. I know if I'm feeling that, like professionally, I'm just being quiet and calm and skilled, you know? And so like, okay, that's me at my best.
Yeah.
So in that vein, how do you feel? Like, what is you at your best?
I've done a lot of thinking about this, like ever since college. So I feel like in college, I didn't have to think about it as much. I don't know why, but as like when I came onto the professional circuit, like I feel like I've had to do a lot of like deep thinking on like where am I at my best on and off the court. It's been kind of a journey for me, and I feel like I'm at my best when I am like fired up, explosive, loud, communicative. Like that's more me, I feel like, and that's when I'm at my best off the court as well. When I'm social, when I'm outgoing, when I'm chatty. I find when I'm struggling, I go a bit more internal. Do
you have a mechanism to manufacture that fieriness when you're playing, or do you have to play your way into it?
It depends, and it kind of evolves, and it kind of depends on the tournaments, the matchups, the stakes, all these things. But sometimes it's like, fuck them. Like that's kind of, and it's not like an outward. When I'm playing them, I'm like, fuck you guys, whatever. It's more of a like. I feel like I'm a very nice person, and for the past couple of years, I've been caught up on like, oh, they're my friend, or we're all here trying to win and trying to compete. And I feel like I've kind of tapped into it a lot lately, trying to qualify for this league. It's like there's no like everyone's out for blood. Everyone's trying to accomplish this, and I've learned about myself that that's how I perform my best. It's like it kind of has to be like fuck them.
I had this conversation yesterday with another team, a women's team. And I go, hey, the team we're practicing against, we're super ugly in the partner scramble. Like, so I was like, fuck them.
Yeah.
And one of the players goes, well, I just like to control what's on my side of the net. Yeah. And the other one goes, yeah, fuck them. Like, okay, different approaches, but for you, it definitely works. So you're sort of manufacturing that fieriness by saying fuck them. That's nice.
Eric Brannick, who's been working with us a little bit, he noticed it in practice because I tend to be more of a gamer versus like a practice player. I tend to not perform as well in practice, which gets frustrating when you're trying to work on new things. And then I go to games and typically I just make it work. And Eric's like, you're a fucking gamer, and we need to start getting you to manifest that in practice, which is hard for me to manifest because it is a lot of energy for me to be like rah, but it is how I play my best. So it's like, how do I find that balance?
So when you're playing, you are like having to draw up. You're having to manufacture that attitude. It's extra energy. Interesting. Can I give you a suggestion on that?
I would love a suggestion.
If you're going to start incorporating into practice to be able to pull out of it and reset. Like
be able to shift.
So you're not full intensity like it's a match, but during play you level up that intensity, then you bring it back to nothing, and then the next time you go you bring it back, because really what happens is it's about attention, which is the most valuable resource in my opinion, and you're burning 100%. Through your attention by manufacturing that thing.
Well, then when I go play in the heat and stuff, I have a very hard time because I can't physically get to that level of fire every time, or else I won't make it to matches. Like I have to be able to find that, and that's again what I'm still trying to work on and learn is like, how do I manufacture that internal fire without having to be outwardly like.
Gotcha.
Because that for me, when I'm loud, and I'm cheering, and I'm communicating, and I'm like yelling, it's like the other team should probably watch out, because that's when I'm feeling good. When I'm more quiet, it's kind of, maybe I'm not signing out as well, whatever. But how learning how to manufacture that play, that flow. It's like when you get in your flow state without having to be so like
want another
over the top energy.
Another bit of advice
I
on
love
it.
it.
Pay attention to when you're really on that thing, and you just say like this weekend in Huntington, perhaps and you're playing and you go, okay, I feel great, I feel amazing. Pay attention to what you're telling yourself. Pay attention to your physical sensations, and then little mental note. You draw those up every single time. You don't wait for them to happen. But then you go, okay, maybe I'm a little too intense. So you find a little happy medium where, let's say that a thought that comes to you when you're in flow is like, this is easy. Because you're not thinking very much, right? This is easy. So make this is easy your self-talk statement all the time.
All the time.
And then you're grooving your neurology into that physical state, that mental state tied to that cue.
Is it normal for it to feel like the difference between when I'm in my flow and when I'm not necessarily? Is it normal for it to feel not that different? The thoughts that are going through my head, obviously the physical things are coming a lot easier. You're able to read and dig more balls and jump high, whatever. Yeah. But sometimes the thoughts going through my head aren't necessarily that much different. And maybe that's because I'm working on that positive self-talk. For me, it's like, serve me. Keep serving me. When I'm feeling good, I'm like, keep fucking serving me.
Yeah.
But when I'm not doing great, I still try to instill that talk, even if I'm not feeling good.
That's what I'm trying to encourage you to do. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
If there's and in flow state, you think very little. Yeah. So you should also in practice and competition think very little. So ideally, I try to teach people to be a robot, right? You just do the same thing every time. Not possible. But if you can be a robot 75% of the time, you're going to be very consistent.
That's how I feel Cloth and Nuss are on the beach tour. Like, they're never super high or super low.
Yeah.
They just do their thing and stay steady, and it works really well for them. They don't have these highs and lows in terms of their energy or their performance. It's just steady, and that works really well for them.
That's a good point, and I've not paid attention to that watching them. But that when you said that, Brandy and Melissa came to mind. Who, like, Brandy's a little more fiery, right? But I'm always impressed by them not getting rattled.
Yeah.
They just could be down 5 and just chip away. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
It's interesting that even brings it up, like this kind of idea of bad motherfucker vibes is wildly different people, all doing their own thing, but still exceptional. Pretty awesome.
It's really cool. That's why sports are so cool. Like, to see what people do to get their best. Like, Troy Field is like, skyball, smiling, engaging with the crowd, this, that, whatever. Trevor Krabs, shit talk. Like, everyone has their own. Tony a little bit too, shit talk. Kylie, it's like yelling to the net. Like, there's every single person has their own way of being a bad motherfucker, and it's really cool to see. And not one thing works for one person, and I can't look at Gina and be like, I'm gonna act like Gina, and that's gonna work for me. Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah. It's funny being a coach of all those different people. They're like Tony, for example. You got to kind of go, okay, how far to the line is she getting to, like, reel it back in? Because like those fiery, maybe you too, those fiery things can get away from you. Yeah. Then there's a real problem. Yeah.
There's a limit. There's balance. Absolutely.
I saw a video on Instagram you posted, or somebody posted just the other day, talking about panic attacks and stuff. Are we cool to talk about that?
Yep.
I don't know if you remember me telling you this story, but I'm going to retell it for the sake of this. That I tried to manifest meeting you for like 2 years.
Yes.
It's like I literally was like, you put out the first video ever that I saw, or just whatever it was, about having a panic attack while you're playing. And I was like, oh, there's help for that, But I didn't know you, and I was like, shit. And then one time at an AVP, they had the club AVP, whatever thing up there. Yeah. And I only worked with Gina at the time. And I'm sitting up there waiting, and you sat down like 3 feet from me, and I was like, oh. And I went, and I was about to introduce myself, and then I think your mom sat down, and I was like, plus it's just like going to be some weirdo in the stands, right? And then like another year goes by, and then I see something where you were training maybe with Katie Dickens. I don't know. You were somehow in proximity of Katie Dickens.
Yeah.
And I texted her, hey, tell Savvy about me because it's amazing. Tell Savvy about me. I can help her. She's like, I don't know. I feel weird about it. So she did. I was like, okay,
Which is
shit.
so funny because I'm so open for for feedback, for help, to talk about it. So it's like I appreciate the being conservative, but it's like I'm so open to talk. So it's just
of course. But you know, I started out and I still have a traditional therapy practice, and so just as a professional thing, you just don't go up to people, hey, I saw your video.
Yeah.
Let me fix you.
Yeah.
It's just how I do it. So Katie was a bust, and then it was, I guess, the next season. Finally, you DM'd me, and I was like,
Tony was like, you gotta see this guy.
Finally, 3 years of manifesting. So I'm curious about this because I see this a lot in not necessarily panic, but I was just talking about this with Megan last night. There's a lot of people that train sports psychology that maybe don't have a clinical background, because you can get a certificate or a mail-in thing, or you can whatever. And I've not ever met a high-level athlete or worked with a high-level athlete that I don't have to help them with some other facet of their lives, like panic or anxiety or depression or some other thing. And so I think it's kind of yours is a powerful story to be at your high level and to be open about it. So just, I guess a general question would be, how do you sort of reconcile your anxiety and that tendency to want to panic with being a high performer and being a bad motherfucker?
Yeah, it's like I said before, like trying to manifest the bad motherfucker vibes on the court. It's the same. Like it's constantly a journey of like, what's gonna work for me today or this weekend or at this phase. I feel like a lot of it's cyclical, and I'm still learning so much about it. Like working with you has helped, like doing this has helped, all these things, and I think reminding myself that the sport's supposed to be fun. Like that should be my outlet. Obviously it's tough because it's my job and I'm trying to make money and be the best I can be and go to the Olympics and do all these things. So obviously there's a whole other layer of stress that I don't even realize I'm putting on myself until I feel that. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I just lately been trying to remind myself of like, this is so fun. This should be my outlet versus this should cause me stress. And I find that for me, like I always want to be surrounded by certain people that are bringing positive energy, and because it's so easy to get wrapped up, whether you have panic attacks off the court or not, it's easy to stress about your sport and your career. But I mean, it's constant positive self-talk, constant reassurance, constantly talking about my feelings, because that for me helps so much, and seeking help instead of being like, I can deal with this by myself, which I still do a lot. It's being comfortable asking for help, being comfortable asking the tough questions, being comfortable being like, hey, is this normal? Hey, is this? And you've been like, there's no normal. There's no like, this is normal and this is not. Like everyone has different experiences. And reminding myself, like when I'm having a panic attack, it's like, this will pass. When I was in Hermosa last year, the Hermosa, it wasn't an AVP, it was just the Hermosa Open. I was like struggling so much with my panic, and I had to forfeit because I was so, I was having a panic attack in the moment, but it was like, I was so exhausted from trying to qualify for the league and trying to do all these things and trying to prove myself. And when I go, I eventually am just like, because my brain's always going too. It's not just the travel, it's everything. So the positive self-talk and reassurance is number one, and number two is taking the time to like rest as well. Time of rest and days of rest are, for me, I think more important than grinding in the sand every day, which you think is number one. But I mean, there's so many layers to this that I'm learning. Yeah,
there's a couple of different real weird conundrums you pointed out, or what's the word, paradoxes. You want to go to the Olympics, you want to get to the league, you want to win the championship, and the more you obsess about it, the worse you'll do. The more fun you have, the better you'll do.
100%.
But our brain isn't wired to like, we have to remind ourselves. And there's an analogy that the conscious mind is the rider and the unconscious is the horse. And when that horse takes off and running, all you can do is hold on, which on one end is panic, but the other end is like obsessing and fretting and all of that, and not being able to go, I gotta remember this is fun.
Yeah. And it's like the balance of like, you want it so bad, but you almost have to, like you said, want it a little, not want it less, but find a way to not put that pressure on yourself to be perfect till you have to do
your
X,
attention.
Y, Z.
Your attention has to go on. This is, I call this the mindfulness question. What does this moment call for?
Yeah.
And sometimes, and a lot of the times, the answer is nothing. But we that's not enough. So
we always want
we have to do something.
Yes.
So then we just obsess. And it goes back again to attention, where you were saying you were already tired for qualifying, already this. So your attentional resources are compromised, and you can't hold that beach ball underwater anymore. And then boom. So it just goes back to the other paradox, which is rest is just as important as work. And people will say that, but they still overwork themselves. And the rest part, it isn't just your muscles, it's your mind, it's your attention.
I think that's the most important, is the resting your mind, at least for me. Like,
for sure.
You know, and you can do both. You can sit on the couch, put your legs up, and do something that takes your mind. For me, it's been reading lately. Just like fantasy, something totally different than what I would, no self-help, nothing, and that's important too. Watching film, you can do all those things to rest your body, but like for me, it's totally disconnecting. Watching a movie or a TV show, reading a book that's totally unrelated, that's been the best for me to kind of like ground myself and reset, because I can go into a little world where I'm not thinking about anything but what's going on in this book.
Right.
And that's for me been so helpful versus like scrolling on Instagram, which is what everyone does. But then I see, the AVP posted this, and then this person did this, and they won this tournament. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know. I'm better off when I just stay away.
Whoever did something that's on Instagram is irrelevant to your development. Like in that, what does this woman call for?
Yep.
And in fact, it's detrimental.
Yep.
Your job is showing up and putting physics on
100%.
volleyball.
100%.
And when you get into stories otherwise, it's no good. You're talking about positive self-talk. Is it a mental exercise you have to do constantly, or is it becoming the default yet?
It's slowly becoming the default.
How do you see that go in your head? How is it different?
I think for me, it's been so long of, I mean, I hate this word, but almost like suffering, like of struggle, that now when I feel the symptoms of a panic attack or like overwhelming thoughts or whatever, the thing that's been the phrase is, this too shall pass, or I've felt this way a million times. It doesn't create as much panic. I still get the thoughts, I still get the physical sensations, but I don't get as much of the panic from it. I've also done I've worked with you, I worked with the USA Sports, like I've been doing neurofeedback, I've been doing so many different things to help as well, which probably has been helping, a ton, but it used to be constantly forcing myself to talk positively, which is exhausting as well. And now it's become, thankfully, more, it's just become easier, more natural. Not always, but mostly. You
said the thoughts still come. What are the thoughts? Like when it's starting to peak, or not peak, but starting to rise, what are you hearing?
I mean, off the court, a lot of my anxiety is like we've talked about, like hypochondria and like fear of the uncontrollables and the unknown. So a lot of it's like my heart's been racing today. Who knows why? Oh well, it's happened to me a million times. For what? Maybe I need to eat something. Maybe I need to lay down. Maybe I need to nap. There's so many different things to do, and I used to like panic about it. And now, not as much. So I'm like, still here. I'm still going. I'm still able to do the things I want to do at a very high level. So that's the off the court stuff. Like I have thoughts about like before bed. It's the worst before bed because I started thinking about like my family's health and my future and me and Evan and da-da-da-da-da, like everyone does. And in terms of volleyball, a lot of it's like, am I, question I'm sure everyone asks, am I good enough? Can I do it? Like, what more do I need to do? So often, I was just talking to Kaylee York about this last night, about like, I've just not given up. I just don't post on Instagram as much anymore because it felt so repetitive. Like, went to this tournament, had a result I didn't like. Gonna keep working hard, keep grinding in practice, and this is our next one. Keep following, support my journey. I got sick of fucking doing that because, unfortunately, you lose a lot more than you win. And for us at this level, like for me, like if I'm not playing in the finals, it doesn't feel like a success. Sometimes, if you're in Elite 16 and you beat these teams, whatever. There's exceptions, of course, but if you're not medaling in a international event and you're not doing this, it doesn't feel like a success because of just where you want to be.
Yeah.
And so I've had a lot of thoughts, especially with the ADP League and all this stuff. Like, I think for me, a lot of it is like, am I delusional right now? Because I really do believe in myself. A lot of people are like, you need to have confidence, you need to keep grinding. I'm like, no, that's the thing is I have the confidence in myself, in my partner, in my team, in what we're doing. But the results aren't coming. It's like, how much more patient can I be? Am I delusional? Am I really good enough? Am I as good as I think I am? Am I as good as I think I can be? How high is my ceiling? I mean, there's so many different questions that I ask myself constantly, and before bed, same thing. I'm dreaming about volleyball, and thankfully a lot of it's positive stuff. Like, I did this on match point, and we celebrated and did da 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 da. And you have these high expectations, and then when you don't meet those expectations, it hurts so much. And for me, I spiral. That's when I have a hard time, is when I have these expectations and these goals and I don't meet them. Lately it hasn't been like, oh, on to the next, I had another opportunity next weekend. It's like my world is crashing with each event that isn't going well. For the first time in a long time, we and Abby just took a second at the ADP qualifier, and although we didn't get an automatic bid, which was the goal and which would have been really nice, it's the best we played in a long time, and I actually left the tournament feeling overall positive about it. But it's like I said, it's constant journey.
How do you feel about sort of conceptually the idea like of the universe, right? Like the universe provides, like, or like me manifesting. You finally giving me. Yeah. Like, do you put any stock in that?
Yeah.
Like in things sort of working out the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, I do. I'm in a point in my life right now. I'm almost 27. I'm learning so much and trying to really figure out who I am and what I believe and what I'm doing. And I'm torn between not torn, but I'm somewhere in between the religious side of things and the spiritual side of things.
Yeah,
like
me too, actually.
I pray and I believe in God and all these things, but I don't feel fulfilled as much as I'd like when I go to church. I talked to Evan about this, like when we go to Yosemite or something, that's where we're like, whoa, this is where we feel fulfilled and in that sense. And I also just kind of how I was raised, and I think my parents did a great job of this, is like, as long as you treat people the way you want to be treated, and you call your nets in practice, stupid shit like that. Yeah. Good karma, right? You do good for others, and hope they do that for you, and whatever. So I definitely, I do think everything happens for a reason. I do think that like whatever's meant to be is gonna be, and I try and trust that. It's not easy to do that, but I try to lean back on that when I'm struggling. Like, okay, this is. I always tell myself, if I make the Olympics or I do this, or all of this is worth it, right? And when I get to that point and I don't do it, then maybe I'll have a shift in mindset. But
I think the angle I'm taking here is everything you're saying is normal and human to say this is the things that I want, but it's all outcome focused. And fine, because you want to make the Olympics. That's the point of doing all this. But when it's all said and done, no matter what happens, the journey is what shaped you. Yep. 100%. I'm not trying to be cheesy about like, every pebble of the path. It's good. No, it's just bullshit. Good. But it's literally, when it's all said and done, what you learned along the way, and then the outcomes were nice. Do you know Eckhart Tolle? Have you heard of him?
I've heard, but
he's a author, like a wise man. He's got this book. One of my favorite books, most influential books, The Power of Now. And I'm gonna fuck this quote up. I'm gonna paraphrase, but the basic thing is, I think he doesn't say the universe. And I have a degree in Christian ministry. I've been employed in ministry, but I enjoy also sort of other philosophical slants. That life gives you what you need to evolve your consciousness. So life gives you what you need to become.
Yep. Yep.
And how do you know that what you're going through is that? Because it's happening. So I think about that all the time when I'm like, I'm not getting the outcome I want. I go, oh shit, because it's not about the outcome. It's about shaping me.
100%. And like that just reminded me of something that like I always used to think or hear. Like God only gives you like things He knows you can handle. Right. He never gives you too much. And sometimes it feels like too much. You feel like you're spiraling. And my dad always used to say this too. He still does. Like sports are a metaphor for life. And so like a lot of things that are happening in my sport, it's funny how like when the things in the sport are going well and the things in the life are going, like it's just, you learn, like I've learned so much through volleyball, through my struggles with anxiety that have made me such a better person, more mature, more compassionate, more understanding, more patient, more all these things that make me who I am. And again, there's still a lot to learn and improve and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, if I look at where I was a couple years ago to now as a person and as a volleyball player, it's like this is where I dreamed to be. But we always still want more, right? We're always chasing more. But I do need to work on being more comfortable with the present, being more comfortable and happy with what I have, because it really is. I mean, look where I live, look what I do. Look, I have an amazing fiance and a great partner and like healthy, all these things. But it's just life. We always want more. We always want better. Like. So.
Yeah, I like this concept that I think about all the time. If I like start getting a little big for my britches, like, oh, I'm Dr. J and whatever. Yeah. I spend more time shagging volleyballs than anybody because I'm just standing around the back, kicking balls back because I'm not really doing anything else. Maybe in a timeout, I go, hey, so this or that, whatever. Yeah. I'm like, man, I went to school for a long time to be a volleyball shagger.
Like I've been humbled.
Yeah, it puts everything into perspective, right?
It does. It so does. We all have that.
I remember when my kid was about 5, like school or preschool age. She came home with the thing, like a little project that said, "I love my dad because he helps me plant flowers," and it's like, maybe we planted flowers once.
Like once, yeah.
Yeah, but that shows you how important. You think you are isn't really that relevant in the grand scheme of things. It's pretty funny. That made me think of something else. This we were talking, Tony and Gina and I doing the same sort of whatever this is going to be. Gina had heard it this way that I don't remember how she said it. I'm going to say my version of it. They're similar. Yeah. I believe, just in the clinical side of what I do, like depression, you would go, what's the opposite of depression? Somebody would go, happiness. Yeah. I think happiness is well down here, but beyond that is awe. So the opposite of depression to me is awe. So if you were depressed, I use this example, like let's say you're depressed right now, that's what we're talking about, and an eagle perched itself on that window, you'd be like, fuck. Yeah. You wouldn't be depressed. No. You would be so present in that moment because you're in awe. Yeah. So then the thing is to live your life in such a way that you have these mountaintop moments, that you put yourself in the way of awe.
I love that.
Then another lesser level of that is living mindfully and in the present to where you find awe in mundane things.
In the everyday stuff. Yeah.
Today or yesterday out at the beach watching practice shagging balls, there was a bunch of like ducks or pelicans or something
diving
flying. No, they were flying in that V, but it was super windy and it was almost like they were just floating.
Like not even moving, yeah.
It was like, shit, that's just cool.
The fact, and this is when I get frustrated with myself, is I walk out, I ride my bike to practice every day. That's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. I come down here and almost every day we see dolphins. What? Sometimes whales, sometimes seals. Okay. That's incredible. And then the sun comes out and we get to run, we get to dive in the sand in our bikini for a living. It's all perspective. And we travel the world for a living. And a lot of times we're like, oh, we're going to go to China this weekend on a red eye. We get to go to China. Some people don't ever get to do that in their entire life. Yeah. And we get to go see all these cool cultures and different people and different food and different this. And a lot of times, it's not as great as it is living here and having, the things that we have here. But at least we get to see it and do it. I get to do it with my fiance. I get to do it with my best friends.
That's cool.
Fuck. Like, why? Like, that's why I get frustrated, because I know how amazing it is, but you just have to remind yourself of those things.
You quickly acclimate to whatever your situation is, and then get shitty about it.
Oh, I get shitty all the time.
I got sand everywhere. I'm like, but my job's on the beach.
Literally, I'm like, Evan, you just took your sweats off and there's sand all over I gotta sweep it up. Like, because that's the biggest problem I have right now. Are you serious?
Do you ever get like an upgrade for first class when you fly?
Yeah.
It's remarkable how douchey I get fast.
Yeah.
Because I'll get my first
glass of champagne.
Yeah, I'll be sitting there and people walk out. I'm like, don't look at me.
Yeah. You scrubs back there in coach. Yeah.
But then the next flight you're back to normal. You're like, you're not making eye contact with him.
Yep.
You feel like a real loser.
Oh my god. Yeah.
We're stupid. Humans are stupid. I don't know if you and I have talked much about this in the context of the work we've done together, but what is your take? And what do you think of mindfulness? Is it something you practice? Are you aware of it?
Mindfulness, again, another thing I've had a journey with. In college, I was introduced to the term mindfulness by our coach, and I was like, fuck this. Because we'd go in the locker room as a team and sit in silence and just close your eyes, and the guy would kind of guide us through it sometimes, and most of it was silent. And I just learned, kind of diagnosed with like ADHD, which is not surprising. I mean, so I find myself like this, always just like looking around, like, how are these people sitting here? It's very hard for me to practice mindfulness, and I feel like I've gotten better with it. I feel I do better when I have a guided meditation or mindfulness through like the Calm app or something like that. But I do think I could use more time during the day and sit. I don't even use the word mindfulness, but just a pause, right? Just sit and be present, close my eyes, feel the feelings, hear the things, listen, smell, whatever. And I think it's really great, and I think I could do it more, but it's something that in the day-to-day I forget. And it's something that needs to be practiced.
Your response to that was mindfulness maybe as a meditative practice. And then what I've sort of come across in performance aspects of this is that mindfulness boils down to awareness.
Yes.
And there's meditation, of course, but my working definition through performance is mindfulness is the awareness of the present experience without assessing it as bad. And it's really without assessing it at all. But if you're assessing it as kick-ass, you're probably doing all right, or you're a lunatic, you know.
Eric Brannick, again, I'm so stoked that we've been able to work with him the past couple weeks. And he never used the word mindfulness, but like when we miss a serve, he's like, cool, the other team's not in a rhythm. Yeah. Fine. Or they hit a shot, here it's like, cool, gathering information. And like, I think that is, again, the word mindfulness hasn't been used, but in my opinion, that feels like being mindful, just like, hey, cool, next.
It is, 100%.
Like, and I think that's been super helpful.
That's a mechanism that he's teaching you to move from your self-criticism.
Yeah.
Fuck, what did I do? I suck. He's like, the next ball, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But there's even there's a deeper level where like you're like, I'm aware it's a little warm in here. I'm aware that the sun's out. But there's also awareness of our individual mechanisms. So when you start to hear that, maybe that panic voice or the physical sensations, being mindfulness, you go, ooh, that things happen.
Yes.
And instead of going, this fucking sucks. Last time we time travel to the past. If this happens, we time travel to the future. You just go, wow, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm having a physical sensation. You don't have to editorialize it or describe it. You just move on. But then now you apply that to performance. And it's funny, man. I've been at 3 practices this morning, watching how mad everybody gets serving out at practice. It's like, it's not necessary. You're being mad that you served out does not help the next serve be in.
No.
It's nuts. And it's people who are great students of mine who are like, in here would be like, yeah, of course, I've got my toes in the sand and I got my whatever. And then they're like, fuck.
Yeah.
All right. It's not that hard. I wish
it wasn't that hard. For some reason I find it hard.
I guess it's simple, but maybe not easy.
Yes.
Because
that's a good way to
our default is that self-criticism, because we
100%.
We prioritize negative information, I believe, 6-1 in our brain. Because it used to be if a twig broke outside our cave, that was a grizzly bear. It didn't do you any good to go, maybe it's a squirrel. Maybe it's like, no, that's something just trying to eat me.
Yeah.
And you then amplify it. It doesn't matter how many berries you have stored in a cave. It matters that somebody's about to eat you. So we prioritize it. I was telling 2 different people practicing this. I noticed two different teams yesterday and today how often they talk about the mistakes and go like, oh man, okay, shit, whatever, but never keep track of what they did good. And there might be like, good shot, whatever. But if you imagine now we're prioritizing negative information 6-1. And then we're like, fuck, now we've got 80 things that went bad in practice.
Well, every time you think about a game, especially if it's a loss, you think about the bad things. You think about, I overset. This happened against Julia and Lexi in the finals of the last qualifier. I overset Abby on backs that I've been setting all day. I fucking overset it. And the play before, block, touch, opportunity score, I pass it over. Also, the play before that, I free balled it out of bounds. 3 plays in a row, very uncharacteristic of me. But when I go back and rewatch the match, I'm like, fuck, it's one of the best games I've ever played. But those 3 things, I remember last year in Chicago, we were playing against Tara and Kristen. And I had a dig to win the match. And I dug it over. And we ended up losing the match. Had we won that game, we would have qualified for the league. We wouldn't have had to play in that game against Kylie and whatever. Like, that shit fucking haunts me. But then when I really take a step back and I go and rewatch the game, and I'm like, we played so well. But yeah, you think about all the negative stuff. That's what you remember. And I do think part of that's what drives you to be better and make adjustments and improvements and whatnot. But I find sometimes that watching film of when you do well, I find it benefits me more than watching the shit that I need to improve on. There's a lot of shit I need to improve on, but when I watch stuff of me doing well, that instills more confidence in me.
Yeah, what you're talking about is so that negativity bias we have, and there's a few mistakes at practice or the bigger ones at tournaments that haunt you for longer. We're dwelling in that, and it gives us the emotional, physical, and psychological response to that thing. And then we depress a little bit, and now we're using emotional reasoning to assess the performance. And unless we go back and watch it, we go, oh, Chicago, I was shit. Because you're basing it off of that negativity bias.
Yep.
So this thing I've been toying with teams to do is to go, hey, when you, I don't remember who it was, I wouldn't say if it was, but we were working on every pass they made in practice that was playable, giving themselves some sort of like, good job. Or it was playable. We picked a word. I can't remember what it was. And it was just an experiment. Like if you go, hey, good job 100 times.
You do it so often.
But you never do it now.
Yeah.
You only go, fuck, fuck.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway, maybe you think about it too.
That is so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though. Okay, what's coming up for you besides this AVP stuff?
We got the Huntington AVP. Trying to qualify for the league. I'm not sure exactly what we need to take finish wise. It's going to depend on other teams and this and that, whatever. We just got to go perform and try to win the tournament. That's basically what we got to try and do. And then after that, on Sunday, we fly on a red eye to China, play an international event, and then after we're there for a week. After that, I really don't know because it depends on if we make the league or not. We signed up for a couple challengers in June, one in Turkey, one in Poland, which would be exciting, but we just don't really know what our schedule is going to be because if you make the league, you can't do the contender series. If you don't make the league, then you're going to do it's a lot of
like
unknown,
algebra.
which has been a nightmare for planning, a bachelorette trip and a bridal shower and all.
When are you getting married?
October 11th.
Nice.
Which is sandwiched in between a ton of events as well. But
where are you getting married?
Mexico.
Really? Nice. Is it going to be like small, just like family? Is there a lot of people going?
Less people are coming than we thought. We wanted it to be just a normal size, invite whoever, and it's not big. I think it'll be around maybe 100, 120,
that seems big.
Which is big. Some people have like friggin' 300, 400 people, which is crazy to me. But a lot of people are either scared to go to Mexico, have prior things that they've already had, don't want to, can't afford it. I don't know. It's pretty cheap. It's just south of the border in Rosarito. So for anyone driving, it's very accessible. For Evan's family coming from New Orleans, it's a bit tougher, but the housing options aren't crazy expensive. It's on the beach. It's great. So that's kind of something fun I've been doing on the side, which has been a nice little escape from everything as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Would you say, back to your panic, not that I want to focus on that, I just checking in on you, like, is, you know, you sort of said that it's better and you've learned some stuff. Is it, how you doing with that? Just as your friend.
Better.
Curious, yeah.
Better. Not perfect.
Yeah.
Every day's different. That's what I've gathered. Like, some days I wake up really, really tired and a little anxious, and then as the day goes on, it gets better. Some days I wake up feeling great, and as the day goes on, I feel different. But I've just been really prioritizing taking the time when I feel tired, take a nap. When I want to sit down and do this, do it. Like when I want to be social, do it. Like just listening to my body and my mind more versus being like, I should feel like this, or why do I feel like this? And yeah, like I said, it's definitely not perfect, but I feel like when I actually sit and think about it, it's definitely better. Like I'm managing so well, I'm playing well, I'm enjoying playing, I'm not feeling the overwhelming things all the time. Yeah, so like I said, there's a lot, and when I really think about it, because sometimes I get caught up and I'm like, oh, I've been so anxious, but then I'm like, whoa, I actually been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Well enough to, I know I'm doing well when I'm just living my life and doing the things I want to do without fear or without second guessing it or without being like, I can't go, I'm too tired, or I can't go, I'm too anxious. Like I'm doing the things I want to do without reservation, without hesitation or things holding me back, which is great. And I still feel like there's improvements to be made, but definitely better.
I think that I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but it's really kind of an impactful, sort of powerful thing. If you imagine the way your mind forms before the age of like 8-ish, everything that you experience, that you learn, that you're taught directly, indirectly, you know, little adverse experiences or traumas, whatever, goes directly into your unconscious mind as what you know, even if it's not true. And it explains why, you know, like Santa Claus, like, yeah, of course, Santa Claus is awesome. He brings me free shit. But then about, you know, a certain like 7, you're like, wait a minute, we don't even have a chimney. Yeah. Like you start to, this filter starts to form.
Yeah.
So this filter forms and it locks all of that stuff in. So that's your unconscious mind. Then your conscious mind, you can think a bunch of stuff, but you know other stuff. Like for instance, this is the example I like to use. If you had a dog and you loved your dog when you were a kid, you have a positive association with dogs. But if you were bitten by a dog, all dogs are bad in your unconscious mind forever.
Yep.
So now you imagine all the adverse experiences and little micro traumas and times your parents hurt your feelings or, you know, you got bullied or whatever. Those stack and become your beliefs about yourself, other people, in the world by the age of 8 or 9. So then that becomes a template you lay across everything, right? So we're not present in any moment. We're in the past storehouse of experiences that we're applying to the present, and we'll distort all the other stuff to make it true.
Yeah.
But in those templates are the thoughts, body sensations, tantrums, you know, responses. So I'm just going through this because I just heard you sort of doing it. It's like you've got a template that goes, man, I'm so anxious. Wait, no, am I?
Yeah.
Like you've got a habit of this negative talk that feeds right into your body tantruming into a panic attack.
I used to have, so I'm on a very low dose of an antidepressant, anti-anxiety, like a super low dose that I'd actually like start weaning off of soon. I just never know the right time because it's season, and I feel like it's been helpful, but it's such a low dose I don't really know. And I noticed when I started taking it and I wasn't super reactive to the physical sensations and I wasn't having all these panic attacks, I actually felt worse for a period of time because my body was so used to responding a certain way, and when I wasn't thinking those things, it was almost like something's more wrong now. And like in a weird way, sometimes people are like, you should try this, you should try that, and I'm more hesitant to like try these new things. And it took me years to start taking medication because I don't think it solves the problem. I think it's a band-aid, which is fine, and I think it's been helpful, and I'm glad I've done it. But I'm so hesitant to like try these things that can help because in a weird, twisted way, I've gotten very comfortable in my suffering, in my anxiety, in my panic.
Yeah.
But I hate it so much, and I pray every night that it goes away. But then when it starts going away for a period, it feels weird. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't feel like myself, which is fucked because I don't feel like myself when I'm in it either.
Here's what's more fucked about that. The little templates I was describing, right? It's your thoughts and feelings, your responses and reactions to things, which not just you, all of us, but in yours, you're talking about this panic thing. And adrenaline, cortisol, all these chemicals that happen through anxiety and panic are very addictive. Yes. So we actually get into an addictive cycle to our own panic.
Yes.
And then what you're describing is you pull those chemicals away, and your body wants to put you back into that panic because it's addicted to those chemicals. Mm-hmm. And the way that it'll do it super subtly is like throw little ideas up. Your unconscious like, hey, remember, you panic on the court. Like it's the craziest fucking thing because it doesn't make any sense in survival because it's bad for us. Yeah. But it will it's like if I'm not going to eat sweets and then you get donuts. Like you've just sabotaged yourself. It sabotages yourself to stay addicted to those chemicals.
Well, I feel the same way with that. If I don't put restrictions on myself in terms of I'm not going to drink until this period of time. I will easily have a glass of wine here, dessert here, and I have no self-control at all, especially with dessert. Can't help myself, cookie after cookie after cookie, no self-control unless I put those, limits on myself. And that's how I just feel with, this addictive personality, that I have is great in a lot of ways. I'm addicted to, volleyball and this and wanting to be better and da-da-da, but then, I feel in other things and I really struggle with it. But yeah, it's a twisted fucking thing, and it's real. What you're saying is real, and I remember times where I'm just spiraling and I can't get out of it, and I think that's where my greatest fears are, is I don't know what gets me out of those moments. So they just kind of eventually pass. Sometimes it's hours, days, weeks, months, I don't know, but I found my body. Sometimes it's just that my body's just physically reacting. I just feel my heart racing. I'm like, what? Out of nowhere. Or something like that. So it's so real.
Here's the tip for that. We can start wrapping up. One time I got a friend of mine called. It's when I kind of first started being a counselor. A friend of mine called because his daughter was having these panic attacks, kind of freaking out, and it was like, can you come to my house? Kind of emergency thing. So I was sitting there talking to her, explaining to her fight or flight and anxiety and what it is. And my friend is like writing notes, and we talked about it afterwards. He goes, dude, you helped me more than anything I had. And he goes, I would have a panic attack when I would get on the treadmill, but it's because his heart rate would rise, and he is so conditioned that the heart rate means panic. And his brain goes into panic. It's it's the template, it's so tied together. And so here's the bit of advice, which we may have talked about before, but this would be a mindful way to handle that. When you start bubbling up, you approach it and you don't go, oh, this is anxiety, this is panic. You go, what is this? It's a sensation in my chest. And this is the crazy thing about it. When I use this and I do this description, my chest gets tight. And I'm not anxious any more than normal. It's just so I go, fuck, what an amazing body we have physiologically.
It is.
Do you know the stories about me and Gina and then me and Miles Evans going to the medium?
No.
It's crazy shit. I'll tell you about it when we have time. But we're in this medium's office, and I looked over and I saw a little light orb zoom into Gina's hair, and I go to the lady, hey, does weird shit happen here? Because I just saw a little light orb. She goes, yeah, I've been here 11 years. This place is crazy. And right then, my chest tightened up, and I was like, whoo. Like that, and she goes, are you anxious? I go, no, I'm not. I'm just this is cool, but something. She goes, yeah. When a spirit enters your energy field, your body will respond. So it's like, this has nothing to do with. I'm not saying there's spirits entering your thing, but I'm saying we just have these weird physiological reactions to dumb shit.
We do.
But we so quickly label it as panic.
Just as bad.
So instead of going, oh, interesting, I'm having a sensation, we go, fuck, this is bad. And then it's off. The horse is off and running.
Always.
I think that was the gist that I wanted to tell you. The umbrella was the approach concept, which is when you have a thing that you want to put a label on it, approach it instead of just buying into the label, and sometimes it dissipates.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
You've been so helpful.
I'm glad.
I feel like we have more sessions we can do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should do one while you're here.
I'm happy to. Well, we're gonna be done. I'll turn this off.